The polarization between red states and blue states has never been more intense, aside from the Civil War era. We started to see an unusual divide in the country once Trump derangement syndrome became a pandemic in 2016, and the coronavirus lockdowns of 2020 and 2021 clearly showed the stark disagreements between different states regarding mandates for masks, vaccines, enforced school and business closures. And with such dramatically different views regarding abortion, school curriculum, transgenderism, reparations for black people, and other irreconcilable divides, many are wondering, at what point do we have a national divorce and split the country in two, or into numerous different republics? When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, various regions broke off into independent republics, and the borders of many countries have changed throughout history as they rose and fell. So it's not unforeseeable that at some point in the future, the United States could break apart into various regional republics as well. Nearly a dozen conservative counties in Oregon have been trying to secede and get annexed into Idaho in what's called the Greater Idaho Movement because they don't want to have anything to do with Oregon anymore, especially since Portland has descended into a zombie wasteland and tarnished the entire state. And for decades, fringe voices have been calling for Texas to secede from the United States and become its own sovereign country, but nobody took such people seriously. Although now many people are wondering, what possible solution is there to America's growing cultural divide other than a national divorce? If Republicans lose the 2024 election and Democrats fill the Supreme Court with a liberal majority, then they would easily be able to keep passing draconian laws that businesses and teachers would have to legally follow, or get sued into bankruptcy. Like the Equality Act that Democrats keep hoping to cram through, which would force everyone to recognize dozens of different genders and allow anyone to declare themselves a man or a woman or neither, and then let them participate in any activities which had been exclusive to one particular sex, including giving them access to locker rooms and showers and competing on girls' sports if someone just identifies as a girl. Then what recourse would normal people have at that point? Businesses would lose their license and be shut down and sued by left-wing activists, or the Justice Department for violating the civil rights of the gender benders. Employees would be fired if they refused to play along with a transgender customer's identity, or if they referred to a coworker as he, him, or she, her, if that person identifies as a gender non-binary person. These issues have been simmering below the surface of mainstream society for years, but now they're boiling over. And what do we have in common with today's Democrats? Our moral values, political interests, and economic models are complete polar opposites. The old days of trying to find common ground on various issues or compromise on certain things in order to win over other concessions are over. The debates about what to do politically with the country are no longer about which group of people should get tax cuts or which communities should get federal funding for infrastructure or social welfare programs, or whether or not somebody agrees with the death penalty or legalizing marijuana or using nuclear power. They're much more personal, and the differences are so much more extreme than anyone in previous generations could have ever imagined. Every day, more conservatives want nothing to do with Democrat policies, and vice versa. And not just economic policies, but policies in schools and the workplace. We even have drastically different views of what entertainment we want to watch, since most long-standing established shows, sporting events, and even television commercials now bombard audiences with divisive political propaganda using once great brand name products like Bud Light, Gillette, and Hershey's to normalize drag queens, celebrate gay marriage, and promote transgenderism to children. If you told somebody back in the 1990s that the US military would be celebrating LGBTQ Pride Month and that virtually every major sports team would be forcing their players to wear rainbow jerseys and that a presidential administration would be proudly hiring and celebrating people who claim they're not a man or a woman, like that luggage thief Sam Brinton, they would have thought you were joking or insane. But insanity is now the norm. Our national debt is economically unsustainable. The lack of patriotism and open resentment and hatred for the United States from many of our own citizens is unprecedented. The flood of countless millions of illegal aliens who will never assimilate into American culture and are just diluting it by importing their own are forever changing the social landscape. Many historians and ordinary Americans see the warning signs flashing that we may be in the late stages of an empire, one that appears to be approaching a complete collapse. So is dividing the United States of America the answer? Should Republican states secede? Maybe a better question is, should the Democrat states leave? They're the ones who hate our history, our culture, our symbols, our Constitution, and everything about America. We are the Americans. I don't know what they are. North American Soviets, maybe? So maybe instead of us seceding, we expel them and then restore the Republic. If you like my series monologues like this, then you'll really love reading my books, which covers everything from the Marxist attacks on our schools, on Christianity, on basic morality and the nuclear family, anti-whiteism, censorship. It's all in there. So order The War on Conservatives in paperback from Amazon.com or download the ebook from any of the major ebook stores. And of course, there's a link to the Amazon listing in the description below. So click it and head on over there and check it out.